The gymnasts have gathered at the end of a long and strange season. COVID interrupted training and canceled meets. But now, despite those obstacles, 8 teams have come together to decide a title. And it all begins right now on the Pac12 network. It is the longest day of the year. 192 performances, 8 teams, 2 sessions, but only 1 trophy. Live from the Maverick Center outside of Salt Lake City, it's the Pac12 Gymnastics Championships. Later on today, the top 4 seeds go in session number 2, including top seed in 5th ranked California. UCLA, the 2-time defending champions, undefeated in 2 straight regular seasons, Utah, and Arizona State appearing for the first time ever in the night session. That's all later tonight, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. But of course, we start with session number 1. Oregon State is the top seed coming in. They came on strong at the end of the season, posting a high score in their last meet. They'll try to set a score to beat and hope it'll stand all day long. For Stanford, what a weird year it has been for the Cardinal. They didn't even begin their season until February 27th. They had 4 meets canceled. They only competed 4 times. It took a lot of grit for the Cardinal to get here. Hi, everybody, and welcome to West Valley City, just outside Salt Lake City. Jim Watson alongside Amanda Borden. We haven't even begun, and already a young girl's dream has come true. I've been ordered to stay 6 feet away from Amanda Borden. Congratulations. What a weird year for all of us. We're wearing masks, all the protocols. What's it been like for the gymnasts?
Well, I had a chance to talk to all the coaches, and it was the late preseason. All the protocols made for a slow start for all the teams, but the coaches all feel they're finally finding their groove, which is perfect timing as they head into the postseason.
We mentioned Oregon State and Stanford, 2 other teams competing in the first session. Arizona has 15 freshmen and sophomores. They have grown up fast, posting their 2 best scores in their last 2 meets.
Well, those 15 underclassmen are key for this team because they're performing 20 of the 24 routines here today. And remember, that means all 15 of them are first-timers to the Pac-12 championship. But head coach John Court said they can feel the excitement and they are just enjoying the moment.
Washington also posted its 2 top scores recently, including season highs on all 4 events.
Well, it's definitely been a roller coaster season for this team. They had struggles early on with consistency, and it's been a full team effort to get back on track, most impressively from their 2 talented freshmen who will be competing in the all-around here today.
These gymnasts have all sacrificed to get here, overcoming interruptions, challenges, and protocols. Now it is finally time to compete. The Pac-12 Gymnastics Championships, live from Utah and only on the Pac-12 network. A long day. Session number 1, Oregon State, Arizona, Washington, and Stanford. And Oregon State, as the top seed, begins on the bars, not in the Olympic order. Their head coach, Tanya Chaplin, joins us now. Tanya, as top seed, you guys got to pick where you wanted to start. As I look at my statistics, bars are statistically your weakest event. Why'd you pick bars?
Well, we thought we'd start there and hopefully finish on our strongest events, and that was strategically why we actually chose that order. You know, sometimes the scores go up a little bit. You never know. You hope they stay consistent all the way through, but we wanted to really start off on our strong events at the end, or finish on our strong events at the end.
Well, besides the obvious struggles that most teams have been through, your team has really had to fight this year. What are you most proud of this team for?
Their heart, they never give up. We've had adversities like every team. They've stayed, you know, isolated and away from other teams and family to really have this season. They've committed everything they can, and I've been really proud that they're able to compete here at the championships because they've put in that work and put in that commitment every day.
Tanya, appreciate the time. Best of luck. Always great to see you.
Thank you.
Tanya Chaplin, Oregon State's all-time winningest coach. And back in the day when she was a gymnast at UCLA, 2-time Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year, a 3-time member of the U.S. national team. So because Oregon State chose the bars, that means Arizona will begin in the Olympic order. We start on the vault. And Laura Lee Horton, a senior from Houston, Texas, who's been struggling to score in this event. Her season high, also a career high, 9.725 came against Arizona State.
Starting with that Yurchenko tuck full. When I talked to head coach John Court, he said this is a great event for us to start on. We want to set the tone and then build momentum from there. He said all season long, though, we have not put the kind of landings we can on this event, so they're focusing in on those sticks.
Oregon State, as you just heard us talking with head coach Tanya Chaplin, has struggled this year on bars. They are only ranked 46th in the country, 7th in this conference. Maddie Dagan in the leadoff.
On this event, you see the high-flying release moves, transitions, high and low, and dismounting with the combination, giant full double tuck. Nice form in the air, and a big start on the landing there.
Amanda, exactly what Tanya was just talking about. You see her associate head coach and husband, Michael Chaplin, who coaches bars, pretty fired up with Maddie Dagan. Her best this year has been a 9.825. Only time she has gotten over 9.8. So far, so good for Oregon State. Here comes Stanford. A tough year begins on the toughest event, the balance beam. Morgan Huang.
The reason this event can be challenging to start on, you have so much adrenaline, excited to be here. So the best thing they can do is take a deep breath, settle in.
Again, Stanford has only competed 4 times with 4 meets canceled. Morgan was up on beam in each of those. Her best this year, 9.825. She hit it twice against San Jose State and against Oregon State.
She had a beautiful back handspring layout, step out. And like you mentioned, only competing 4 times. So not only is this event challenging to start on, calming your nerves, but one thing the coaches shared with me is the up and down of the season has made finding the rhythm of competition more challenging. They usually start preseason meets really early, and they were really just trying to get in shape to compete during that time. So ultimately, the pressure of competing has come on quick and aggressive. And for this Stanford team, this is just their 5th time competing, so not a lot of experience per se for the season.
Taps the beam cap.
Yeah, setting up for that dismount. Nice 1.5 twist, a little hop to the side there, but what a great start for this team on a challenging event.
That's good work by Morgan. Junior from Sugar Land, Texas. Washington starts on floor. This has been a good event for them. They are ranked 30th nationally, but they've been 49 or better in their last 2. Allie Smith in the leadoff has 4 straight floor routines that have scored 9.8 or better.
Clean double tuck to start the routine. Earlier, I talked to the coaches, and they felt great about starting on this event. It's been a strong event for them. Middle tumbling pass, front 1.5 twist to an immediate jump. Keeps those landing deductions minimal. I mentioned the late preseason. The Washington coaches felt like they really didn't get to start training as a team till January. And if you looked at their team scores early on, it was a big struggle. He said it was nerves, it was just trying to adapt to everything, and he has watched this team really pull together. The freshmen stepping up, the upperclassmen leading the culture. I think the common information I got from every team was they are grateful to be here.
With so many things being out of sync, being strange, being new to all of us, I would imagine for gymnasts, getting back in the gym and competing is about as normal as it can feel. As we rotate around, Tombstone Graphic will come up with each of the scores. Laura Lee Horton at 9.625. Caroline Harry, a freshman from Argyle, Texas, has been on vault and beam in most of the meets. Slow improvement on this event, 9.725, her best.
Nice vault. The Yurchenko layout full, the most common vault we see, it starts from a 9.95. So the judge is looking for the power and amplitude, of course, height and distance, and putting those clean landings on. When I talked to John Cord, he said, you know, we have good vaults, but we've been stuck in that 9.75 range. We really want to notch up into those 9.8s.
Yeah, and every year as February turns to March, teams are trying to replace 9.7s with 9.8s, and that's exactly what Oregon State is trying to do here. A late change in their lineup. Ariana Young now goes in the 2 spot, and we'll try to build off Maddie Dagan's very impressive 9.725. That's a good start for Oregon State. Now, Ariana Young has not hit 9.8 this year on this event. Her best, a 9.725, came against California. You talked about all the young athletes. Here's another freshman, first time at Pac12s. It's the usual arena here at the Maverick Center, but of course just a smattering of friends and family rather than a sellout crowd of over 12,000.
Nice deep breath before she starts. You saw her kind of walking through the bar routine, giving herself those visual, mental cues.
And certainly Michael Chaplin gave her a last word to remind her of something so far. Nice on the transition.
Oh, she did the release move up to the high bar, did not have enough swing down to the low bar and hit her feet on the mat. That can be anywhere from 3 to 5/10 of a deduction. She winds up finishing double layout. Little unsteady there on the landing.
That's Brian Rusilla, the new assistant coach, his first season at Oregon State. But a guy who's been around the sport for a long, long time. Remember that 6 will compete, but only 5 score, so you can drop one of the scores. Morgan Huang got a 9.725. Good start for the Cardinal on the beam. And Chloe Widener now. Sophomore, Frisco, Texas, outside of Dallas. 3 times has gone 9.8 on the beam, including a 9.85 against San Jose State.
She has a very aggressive style, sharp movements. Nice extension on that opening leap pass, and now moving right into the tumbling element.
Beautiful
Solid
series.
landing.
Yeah, very nice.
Throughout the beam routines, you see the elements, the tumbling series, the variety of leaps and jumps. Of course, the full turn that looks easy, but is quite challenging sometimes.
Tabitha Yim, the head coach, in the background.
Beautiful combination work for an aerial to the split jump.
By the way, Tabitha Yim, back in the day, was a champion at the Pac-12 finals on balance beam.
I remember. The other element of this championship is they're competing on a podium. That means all the equipment is up on the stage. Beautiful routine. Wow, I'm not sure I saw a deduction throughout. So this is really going to test the judges, right? They come out a little slow as well. We've only seen scores 9.7s or so. That should be a big score for Stanford.
9.75 opener for Allie Smith. Gabby Wickman. 4 routines on floor in the early season. The freshman then has been off of this event for a couple of meets and now returns at the biggest meet of the year. Her best, 9.775, came against UCLA.
Front double full.
Hold on, don't step out.
Yeah, she didn't quite get it all the way around, so as she landed, it kind of bounced her forward. Oh, the yellow flag went up late, so it does look like she may get 1/10 of a deduction, but from my perspective, it didn't look like she went out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that again. As you mentioned, the flag did come in late. I thought she had survived that hop in the corner. That's the judge in the background who brought the flag up. Can you appeal those as a coach?
You can. I could see the coaches. Oh, wow. Combination there. Came up completely short on the front layout. Feet slipped right underneath her. That's the biggest challenge with those front landings. Finishing front 1.5 twist. So you mentioned 6 routines, only 5 count. That'll be the one Washington wants to drop.
All right, we didn't think she went out, but
So
we're
right there,
far
look.
away from the road. This hop right there. And there's the head coach, Ralph Rosso, in the background. Now, he might be lobbying there a little bit, applauding as if she stayed in. You and I thought she stayed in, but the judges get the final word and really the only one that matters. 9.75 for Carolyn Harry. Peyton Bellows as we go back to vault. She was only on this event in the first 2 meets. Both times 9.8. Good time for another.
Wow, there it is.
Oh, there you go. Look at John Court, fist in the air.
Great vault. She's got a beautiful vault. The question was, could she land it? She knew exactly what to do. Arms open, finds her balance. There's a little slide, so a hair of a deduction, but that's the kind of landing Arizona needs on this event. So from here on out, they got to build and repeat that over and over.
Nice work by Peyton Bellows. Oregon State will want to drop Ariana Young's 9.35. Nia Mack. Nia Mack has been struggling to score in this event. Her best, 9.75, came in the rivalry with Arizona State.
Unique element down to the low bar. We typically call that a straddle back. She did hers in a pike position through. Came up a little short on the handstand. And a full twisting double back to finish.
Hold on.
You know, that was a great routine. It's the little details that the judges may take deductions on. The short handstands, of course, the step on the landing, but really picked up the momentum.
9.875 for Chloe Widener. How good is that?
Great.
Well, for Widener, 9.875, not even a season high. She's gone as high as 9.925, so perhaps Stanford expected good numbers there. Sandra Jessen. Jessen's been on the beam 4 times this year, coming off her best against Oregon State.
Little balance check early there on the full turn. Oh. Back handspring layout there completely sideways. She had no chance to save that. Remember, the balance beam's only 4 inches wide. It doesn't take much. Resetting, she's got to finish strong here. Side area looked a little hesitant on the landing. The most challenging thing about balance beam is just really getting into what you train every day and not changing anything. Your heart beats faster, your breathing's quicker. Sometimes you doubt or you double check your landings, and that's where those small bobbles come into play. Dismounting 1.5 twist.
Amanda, so many things working against Stanford. Again, they had 4 meets canceled. They didn't even start their season until February 27th. That's not even a month ago, and they began at the biggest meet on balance beam. So I know the tap at the end won't make excuses, so I'll do it for them.
Not easy to do, but again, grateful to be here. Enjoy the moment, get better every meet.
Katie McNamara now on the floor for the Gym Dogs of the University of Washington. This is her best scoring event, 9.875 against California, her top mark this year.
And one of their standout freshmen, opening tumbling pass there. Front 1.5 twist, immediate straddle jump. Katie's expected to be competing in the all-around. We talked about the young Arizona team and how their underclassmen haven't been at this meet. You have to remember, right, nobody experienced this last year. So the freshmen and sophomore, this is their first time being here at the Pac-12 championships on a podium. Combination. Nice job holding on to that front layout.
They call her Katie Mack. part of that super young contingent of freshmen and sophomores at Washington forced into action. I was talking with Ralph Rosso, the head coach, earlier this year, and we both reminded one another that in 3 years, those freshmen will be juniors with 40 meets under their belt. Back to the vault, Danny Nosek.
Beautiful layout full. Bellows only got a 9.775. I thought that would have broken into the 9.8 range. It's another strong vault, beautiful in the air, just that hop back on the landing. And that's what's subjective, right? Is that 1/10? Do they want to take 2/10s?
And Nosek's another one of those athletes been caught in the 9.7s, her best a 9.775. Nia Mack, they give her a 9.6 for the effort. Here comes Caitlin Yanish. Later on, you'll see Yanish on the floor where she's one of the best in the country. Your first look, you find her on bars. And I don't have her in the bars lineup this year. This might be her first.
Well, 5 of the 6 athletes in this lineup are new. Only 1 returned from last year.
Well, how about that? Coming out of the bullpen and throwing up a great set.
Huge double layout to finish that routine. That's the skill she's known for on floor exercise. She did it just as dynamic here. Legs glued together, and she almost has to keep her arms up to not rotate too much.
Well, we know Yanish is multi-talented. Hadn't seen her on bars all year, and she does that. Rachel Flam now, as Stanford can afford no more errors on the balance beam. They'll drop that 1 score. Flam has been up 3 times this year prior to the Pac-12 championships. Been a little rusty.
Rachel's a very powerful gymnast. As long as you can control that power on this event, it is helpful. Balance check there on that switch half.
And the lack of training is going to show up on beam more than any others.
I mean, if you ask me, lack of training on any event is a challenge. Gymnastics is an all-year-round sport. There's really no downtime. You're working on your drills, your technique, and then you move into routine readiness, working on endurance and consistency. So to take time out of any of that is challenging. Small balance check there on her punch front. You can see she's trying to work in her head. I believe that was supposed to be some type of combination. Nice switch side combination. You can see the amplitude of all of her skills. That's the power that she brings on this event.
Rachel Flam.
Yeah, that's going to be a lower score, unfortunately, because she had the balance checks, but she never had 2 tumbling elements connected. So that'll be an additional deduction on top of the score. Should reflect in the start value.
Here comes Geneva Thompson on the floor for Washington. She has had a great season on this event. 4 straight 9.85 or better. So she is arriving at the Pac-12s at exactly the right time.
And she is fun to watch on this event. She has great facial expressions. You can see there's not a big crowd here, but she will draw everyone that is in the building into this routine. High flying double tuck to start it off.
Twice in her career, Geneva Thompson has gone 9-9 on the floor. This year against UCLA, and the last time she was on this floor at the Pac-12 championships in 2019.
Front layout, front full. Moving right out into it. Final pass. Front 1.5 twist. Nice routine.
You know, I've asked you many times, and Sam Peshek's been with us at Pac-12s in the past. I always ask you guys, what would you want to start on? Do you want to get beam out of the way early? Do you want to start on floor because you're kind of geeked up and you have all this energy? Where do you want to start?
I would say my number 1 was vault, but my number 2 was bars. Starting on beam for me was challenging.
Jessica Castles, 5 times, has gone 9-8 or better on this event. That might be another one. John Court, the head coach, reacts with a confident clap. Says that's what we've come to expect from the freshman from England.
Yeah, she had a nice block off the table. It looks like she was almost slowing her rotation down a little bit to go for the stick, so finished a little on the front of the landing, had to take a small hop.
Yeah, she's having a great freshman campaign. 9.75 for Yanish. I thought it might even get a bit better than that. Kayla Bird. Bird has been heating up on the bars. 3 of her last 4, 9-8 or better, and she has a victory on this event this year.
Tkachev, wow! I could see right when she came off the bar, it was not moving over the bar. It hung up straight up over the bar. So of course she caught her heel, had to take an extra swing. That'll be a major deduction there. So right here, you could see she went really early. So the goal is that she swings up and over the bar, clears her feet, and then directly connects that kip out, but she caught the right foot. She'll get a deduction for that. Of course, the extra swings.
9-3 for Flam. Kyla Bryant has been in the all-around in 3 of the last 4 meets. This is one of her better events. She's coming off a season-high 9.875 on the beam. Also had a 9.8 against Oregon State, so she's capable of posting a big mark.
She is so fun to watch on all the events. She just is dynamic, has a lot of personality.
Well, because they only had 4 meets, Bryant has only 14 scores total on the year.
Wow.
Of her 14 scores, 9 of them have been at least 9.8.
That was a gorgeous back handspring layout, step out, floated into the landing. Impressive jumps there, way up off the beam, quick legs, hitting that 180-degree split. Another power skill right here, punch front, opens up, almost landing in a completely upright position. And setting up for a dismount. She does 2 back handsprings to the double tuck. Huge high flying, just took that hot floor at that.
Yeah, it came
was
up
a
a little
gorgeous
short.
routine though.
Yeah, great start to finish. Their best so far is the 9.875 by Widener, and had she landed clean, it might have challenged that mark. Skylar Killow-Wilhelm now for Washington. Should see her on everything today.
Clean double tuck, bounced out a little bit. That can be one of the effects of a podium. Makes all the equipment a little bouncier. You have to remember to bend your knees and kind of absorb the power.
Back-to-back 9.825s for Washington, trying to build a nice rotation here.
Clean front double full in that middle pass.
Amara Cunningham to come in the anchor spot for Ralph Rosso and the Gym Dogs. So if Killow-Wilhelm, and Cunningham get through clean, Washington could set themselves up for the rest of the day.
Oh, looked like a little bit of a struggle there.
Yeah, fighting through it.
When she landed the 1.5, it looked like her knees were a little soft, so that can affect the second flip. Most importantly, she stayed on her feet. It shouldn't be a major deduction, could affect her start value.
Two things to keep in mind. We're at altitude, so fatigue's going to hit a little bit because you haven't had the full training season. And also they're on a podium.
Absolutely. Everything's a little different. And remember, for freshmen, this could be the first time they've ever been on a podium.
9.725 for Kayla Bird. Jenna Domingo in the anchor spot for the Gym Cats.
Actually, this is Malia Hargrove.
Yeah, excuse me.
Came up a little short.
Yep, I was one page off. Malia Hargrove, thank you for the correction.
She has been a consistent performer for this team. That wasn't her best fault, though.
And she'd been pretty good. She had been hitting 9.8s almost every meet. Now we find Jenna Domingo.
Beautiful Ray combination down to the low bar.
Just her third routine on the bars this year, coming off a season high at Stanford to close the season.
Little off there on that giant turn, but able to pull through combination. Finishing that double, taking that big step forward, but they made it through that first rotation.
9.875 for Kyla Bryant. She did match Widener's 9.875.
Oh dear, she almost fell off there on the mount.
This is Jay Tan, a freshman from Singapore. Amanda, she hasn't competed ever at the collegiate level. This is her debut.
Well, you know, when she started that mount, I didn't think she was really starting officially, and then all of a sudden she popped up and barely made it on. It looked like she was a little nervous, a little timid. Finding her groove there. There's a beautiful leap pass, switch leap to switch half. Strong split half. She has nice posture throughout this routine. Looks like she's gaining confidence, having more rhythm throughout this routine as she comes to the close here. Dismounting. Gainer pike off the end.
Tan does have a connection to Stanford. Of course, it's one of the greatest universities in the world, so it's going to bring students from everywhere. But her aunt, Maytai O'Malley, was a coxswain on the Stanford men's crew team back in the day. Washington closes with its best on the floor. 4 victories and just a continuation of a 2-year improvement, coming off back-to-back season-high wins with 9.95s. Here is Amara Cunningham.
Combination front through to double tuck. You can see all the teammates joining in early in the season. When we talked to teams, they said, we know the energy is going to be different in the arenas. Normally thousands of fans, all their friends cheering them on, so they had to learn how to create their own energy. So the teams on the sidelines really getting into it, performing, rooting their teammates on, especially on this event. Big double pike there and a big smile. Great routine. That'll definitely edge out that 8.65 early on in the rotation.
Amara Cunningham, vault and floor with the 4 wins on floor. We'll find out about her score, and it greatly affects the Gym Dogs rotation. Arizona just went 48-6 to open on vault. Scores are in from the first rotation of the first session at the Pac-12 Championships for 2021. And a 49 for Washington on floor, 48-6 for Arizona, 48-2 Stanford, and Oregon State had to count a 9-3-5. And that way the Beavers end up with a 48-0-7-5. But let's get back to Washington and a nice opening rotation. 49, Ralph Rosso, the head coach, joins us. Ralph, you guys closed the season with your best 2 scores, putting up season highs on all 4. You come into this meet with some momentum. Did you expect 49 on the floor? That was a pretty good opening set.
Yeah, we're really proud of the team and the build that they've had the last couple competitions, and we purposely chose floor because we felt floor was one of our strongest events, and you know, that's exactly what we expected them to do, and that was a good start for us to build momentum carrying over to vault, where we feel really good about it as well.
Well, earlier when we talked, you said how impressed you are with your freshmen like Katie and Skylar, but also Geneva and Amara. Those 4 are also in the vault lineup. What are you expecting on the second rotation?
Yeah, we have a really good mix of upperclassmen with our younger classmen. Our younger classmen have gotten a lot of experience, and we just want to build off of last competition, hopefully get some stuck vaults or minimize deductions, and really just keep our momentum going.
Appreciate the time, Ralph. Best of luck for the rest of the day. Congratulations on the 49.
Thanks. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Ralph, 3 years as an assistant coach, replaced Elise Ray Stats in October. And here are the scores. So they drop that Wickman 8-6-5. And look at the last 4. McNamara, Thompson, Killow, Wilhelm, and Cunningham all come through under extra pressure. And Cunningham with the 9-9. She's been on fire on this event all year long, and she posts a big score at the biggest meet.
Well, like he mentioned, this was one of the reasons they wanted to start on floor. They feel like it's a strong event. It's a really great place for them to set the tone. That being counting on their 2-star freshman and then anchoring with this young lady. She's powerful, and she was clean today. You saw it on her face. She knew she nailed this routine, and it's the only 9-9 of the competition so far.
Amara Cunningham, we should see her on the vault in the next rotation as well. The 9-9 to close out, a 49 rotation for Washington, and the Gym Dogs of UW lead after 1. Once again, the scores from the first rotation, 49 even for Washington, showing the way, and just behind Arizona with a very impressive 48-6 to start things out at the Pac-12 Championships. Stanford had to count 2 low scores, but still managed a 48-2 on the beam, and Oregon State, again, also had to count 2 low scores. So now we rotate, and staying in the Olympic order, Washington moves from the floor to the vaults. Issa Weiss will lead off, Katie McNamara, Skylar Kilhill-William. There's Amara Cunningham, who just posted that 9-9 on floor, Allie Smith, and Geneva Thompson. So we have seen all of these gymnasts in the first rotation for Washington. They're ranked 6th in the conference on this event, 30th in the country, but they just hit their first 49 of the season in the final meet against California. When I talked to Ralph earlier this season, I did their meet against Oregon State. It was still early. Ralph had only been in the chair for a few months, and he had the pandemic and everything going on and all these young athletes. And he said, I think we're going to be a lot better by the time we get to Pac-12s. Well, that was optimistic because we didn't even know we'd have a Pac-12s. But coaches have to aim for it, and he's done that, and Washington has improved on schedule. Issa Weiss in her usual leadoff spot, sophomore from Palmer, Alaska, and Denali Gymnastics. She was the state vault champion in Alaska back in 2018. She's posted modest numbers so far as a sophomore. 9-7 against California is her best. Looking for more right here, right now.
Suk tuck full. We see the Yurchenko vault most commonly because it's the easiest to generate power. So
good for her.
Not an easy vault, but nicely done.
Arizona will start with a sophomore, Sierra Lynn. She wastes no time at all.
Ooh, opens up with the Tkachev. Not a lot of amplitude, so skimmed over the high bar, but did a wonderful job.
She's been getting better on this event as the season has worn on, coming off a season high 9-8 in a tri-meet at McHale Center to close the season. Not quite vertical on the handstand. Holds on to the landing.
Yeah, nice dismount there.
Well, she seemed to wobble a little bit, but she kept it all together.
Yeah, well, the key on this event is hitting those release moves and having the form and the lines, but it is the details. Hitting those handstands, sticking those landings.
Sierra seemed like she was in a hurry. Does she know we're going to be here for 9 hours? There's no hurry. Christina Peterson as Oregon State goes to the beam. Now, Oregon State is ranked 18th in the country and 3rd in this conference on this event. They're averaging 49. They've gone as high as 49.35. So this is a very important event for Oregon State, especially after their slow start.
Small balance check there.
Peterson, even though she's in the leadoff spot, has won on this event twice this year. She's been great. 5 straight times she has gone 9-8-5 or better. Here's the series.
Triple series. 2 back handsprings to lay out, step out. She just looks a little hesitant. I think it's hard to explain what it's like when you mount the beam, your first step, your heart's racing, and sometimes you just get a little jumpy. She's not making any major mistakes, just needs to almost, what I say, absorb every single landing, knowing where her arm positions are and staying there, waiting till the skill finishes versus kind of jumping out of it.
In one of her most important meets of the season against California, she goes gainer dismount. She put up a 9.925 to win the meet against California. Here's the mount, which is unique.
Yeah, a little risky there, hanging off the end of the beam, but great way to start using a unique element to get on the beam. And she had a big smile. She looked like she was ready to have some fun.
2 freshmen at the top of the table here for Stanford. Amanda Zing, a freshman from Sammamish, up in the Seattle area, east side of the lake. Scores rising in 4 straight meets, including a couple 9.8s.
Combination to start the routine. Front layout, front 1.5 twist. Floor is always a favorite event to watch. It was personally my favorite too, because you see such variety of skills, and the tumbling passes, of course, powerful, but unique elements, and then different music matches personality. You can see the athletes getting into it. I've said from the very beginning of this season, though, it must be challenging to perform on this event without fans. Double tuck there, stepped very close to the white line, but I do not think she went out. I didn't see the flag go up.
Amanda Zing, who returned last year after a 2-year layoff.
This was her second tumbling pass double tuck, and as she lunges back, she's very close to that white line, but the foot has to cross over to the other side to get that 1/10 deduction. So it's almost like she knew it was right there because she held on, didn't let it move.
Are the judges a bit more forgiving when it's a sting mat, because you don't know if that line is exactly, that slides back and forth, especially when you land on it?
Yeah, well, the line judges, that's all they're worrying about, is making sure that the mat is lined up exactly with that out of bounds, and they're keeping a close eye on it. But so are the coaches too.
Issa Weiss, 9.7. Once again, Katie McNamara. And she's won,
wow,
but she's been a little inconsistent. She's had a 2-point swing between her high and low scores. Her best, a 9.875, came on the road in Arizona.
This is a vault that we're beginning to see more often. That Yurchenko, and they twist onto the table, so they actually do a half on to that front position and have to block and, of course, get enough momentum to flip off and land it. It should be a good score. Mackenzie Kane already starting bars. Jaeger combination a little low there on her transition down to the low bar, but was able to hold on. Nice handstand there. She sets up for the dismount. Double front. Another unique element. That blind landing can be difficult because you can't see the floor before you finish.
9.7 for Christina Peterson. Lexi Gonzalez now for Oregon State on beam. It's the 7th time she's been up this year, and twice she's gone 9.8 or better, including a 9.875 on the road at Stanford to close the season.
Looked like when she landed that front aerial, her bottom foot was sideways on the beam. I believe she's going to repeat that element. She's using it for a tumbling series right there, connected to the back handspring. That is a requirement, having 2 elements connected. Nice extension there, switch lead, straddle quarter. Beautiful. Kick over front, nice position on the landing. Dismounting side aerial full twist. So that early mistake, but she covered it up, came back, repeated that tumbling series.
And I believe that's the only time we're going to see Lexi Gonzalez today, beam specialist. Amanda Zhang went 9.825. Sandra Jessen has been improving quickly on the floor. 9.725 her best against Oregon State.
Back 1.5 front layout to start the routine.
I don't know that we've seen this many freshmen competing at the Pac-12s ever. Freshman from Allentown, Pennsylvania. She's been in 3 events in all 4 of their meets this year, but Stanford, besides starting late, has had a thin roster. In fact, one of their meets this year, Stanford had just 6 gymnasts compete.
Yeah, we could go on and on about the challenges. I mean, this freshman class in general, right? They don't know any different than coming in as a college athlete and having to manage all of this. For many of these athletes, they're training in the gym and they're studying in their dorms. They're not doing their normal social activities, and yet they are so grateful to have the opportunity this year. The upperclassmen missing it last year, their perspective is just to be happy to be back and enjoying those moments. I know when I walked in the arena today, it was just so great to be here again. But through it all, everybody is learning so much about being resilient and tough. These freshmen, through all the ups and downs, are gaining a lot of experience and should be really proud of themselves.
Katie McNamara is having a good meet. She had a 9.85 in the first rotation, 9.75 here on vault in the second rotation. Skylar Wilhelm.
Oh, wow, that was gorgeous. I was waiting for a perfect landing. Probably the best layout full we've seen today. Nice block, comes off the table with those straight shoulders. That gives her lots of height, rotation, and distance right there. Wraps those arms up and over, just took that big hop back on the landing.
And Skylar coming off with some momentum. She came in off a season high. In fact, it was a career high as well, 9.875 at California. Washington and California met each other the last 2 meets, once in Seattle, once in Berkeley, and both schools put up big numbers in both of those meets. In fact, Washington had 8 different gymnasts with season highs in those last 2 meets. Aaliyah Hargrove on the bars for Arizona.
Very nice combination work, good extension on the Tkachev, legs glued together throughout this routine.
Been up and down on the bars this year, but she's coming off a career high 9.85 last week.
Well, good for her. Her vault was not her best. She did not put the landing I think she was hoping for. That routine had it all. Beautiful form, hitting those handstands, and a great landing.
9.725 for Lexi Gonzalez. Here's Ariana Young, who you know has had a long wait since that first rotation, waiting to redeem herself here on the balance beam. She had some early issues this season on the beam. She's taking care of those. Her last 3 scores on the beam have all been 9.825 plus. At a 9.875 at Poly Pavilion against the Bruins.
She's doing a great job of covering a few balance checks. Dynamic opening start to the routine. Nice rhythm there on her lead pass, finishing with that double stag ring.
It's still relatively early in the meet, but Oregon State now feeling pressure as this is getting away from them. Just a 48.075 in the opening rotation and 2 9.7s to start on beam here. They need to start putting up some big numbers in a hurry.
She had a few balance checks, maybe not noticed as much by the judges, so it'll be interesting, but that was a great routine.
9.675 for Jessen. Maddie Burnett for the first time. Burnett also was coming off a career high, had a 9.8 against Oregon State in the finale.
Another combination there to start. Front layout, front 1.5.
Stays in.
Yeah, double tuck. She didn't leave a lot of room there. She knew it was close to the white line, so she took a very small step back on that lunge.
Maddie Burnett, junior from Seattle. Nice effort, now waits for the score. Back-to-back 9.75s, 3 9.7 pluses in a row for Washington. Once again, Amara Cunningham. Scores have been rising. 5 times she has gone 9.8 or better, including a 9.875 against California.
Powerful vault. There it is.
Oh, come on.
Good for her. She was clutch, anchoring on floor. She brought the power, but she brought the detail, and that's what this vault had also. Some of that is experience, knowing exactly where you are. You could see she wraps those arms in tight, but pulls them out at the right timing. It's all about finding that perfect balance as you drop into that landing position.
Amara Cunningham only competes in 2 events, and because of the draw, her 2 events were first. She's done for the day, except for getting that final score. Taylor Raskin on bars for Arizona.
Beautiful line there. She transitions down to the low bar, got a little loose, missed the handstand, lost some form.
Been improving slowly, had a 9.775 against the Air Force Academy.
Oh, wow.
And as her feet get away from her on the landing.
She looked a little off that entire routine.
That was Peter Jansen, the new assistant in Tucson. Longtime head coach, University of Illinois, Chicago. Joined John Court's staff. 9.8 for Ariana Young. Nice. Jenna Domingo. Domingo on the beam this year. 6 times all solid, including a victory. Had a 9.9 on the road at Stanford. That's her career best. Comes from Kapolei in Hawaii, which is near Pearl Harbor for those of you who only go to Hawaii on vacation. She was the Hawaii Gymnast of the Year back in 2018 in high school, as a lot of gymnasts are, was also a pole vaulter. Why not? Body awareness in the air, right?
Absolutely.
Comfortable going upside down.
And she is comfortable on this event. She has such a nice, smooth, calm rhythm on the balance beam.
You know who was one of the pioneers in doing that was Carly Dockendorf at Washington, who now is an assistant coach at Utah. We'll see her later tonight. I think she was kind of tricked into track and field.
Yeah, the coach is always like the gymnast.
Yeah. Have to ask her about that and get the real story for later.
For this Oregon State beam lineup, Jenna and their anchor Maddie Dagan are the only two athletes that return on this event from last year. So they bring the experience. Holding on there to the dismount. Beautiful routine. She just has a light, effortless routine. Fun to watch.
Domingo had a 9.65 in the first rotation on bars. 9.85 for Maddie Brunette. Excellent score. Chloe Widner. Widner's been great on the floor. 4 times has gone 9.8 or better. 9.85 against San Jose State, her top mark.
She started on the balance beam strong as well with that 9.875.
Yeah, the top mark we've seen so far in the session. Oh, 9.9 for Cunningham. One of the top marks we've seen.
Strong front layout, front full. Nice amplitude. Strong flexibility on that leap pass. Finishing big double pike. Great routine.
I mentioned that Chloe went 9.8 or better 4 times, but last year she went 9.9 twice on floor.
She's great at the floor. She's powerful, fun to watch.
9.825 for Amara Cunningham. Allie Smith. Allie Smith led off on floor for Washington, had a 9.75.
Tuck 1.5. That is a vault that starts from a 10.0, and that was a clean landing. She's excited. That should be a great score.
Well, her scores have been creeping up each meet. She had a 9.925 against California when they met in Seattle last week and won the event.
Well, the 1.5 twist, whether it's in a tuck position or the layout position, starts from a 10.0. It is much more difficult to land because you're twisting on that part of the landing and landing in that blind position, but that was great.
So now a little pressure on Bailey McCabe and Elena Dietz to close off the rotation for Arizona. Again, 6 compete, 5 score, so they're going to want to drop that last mark.
Oh, wow, great fight. Aggressive cast handstand, almost overshot it. She's got to regroup, get her rhythm. Most challenging thing about bars is all the skills are connected. They're all fluid, so when you make one small mistake, you got to regroup and find that rhythm. She has done a phenomenal job. All that's left is the dismount.
Bailey's only event, so she can let it go here.
Big double layout.
Hold on to it. And look at the face, like a veteran. The freshman from Maple Valley, also up in the Seattle area. She's had good scores. She's gone as high as 9.85, did that against the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. 9.85 for Jenna Domingo, very nice. So the scores now starting to creep up. I think the early wiggles are out, all the nervousness is gone. People are settling in, and I think gymnasts are a little better when they get a little angry. I know you are.
Well, you know, that's easy when I'm working with you.
It is easy up here, isn't it?
Balance beam, you know, when you talk to the coaches, you talk about their lineups. They usually put somebody in that first spot just to kind of get the ball rolling, and they really gain confidence. It's kind of like, we can do this now. And you see a lot of teams at the back part of the lineup really picking up momentum on this event.
Sydney Gonzalez for Oregon State has won twice on the beam this year. She's gone 9-8 or better 3 times, including a 9-9 at Arizona State, but she's also had some trouble, and I'll leave it at that. You saw her big sister Lexi earlier. And of course, both the Gonzalez sisters come out of Wildfire Gymnastics in Southern California.
Finishing side aerial full twist.
They'll take that.
Very good.
Back-to-back 9.85s for Brunette and Widner. Morgan Wong. We saw Morgan lead off the meet on beam for Stanford with a 9.725.
And a big double layout to start that routine. Stanford having a great rotation on the floor exercise. Their low score right now, that 9.675.
Morgan's been on 3 different events this year, the vault, the beam, and the floor, but this is her best event, 9.825 twice.
Setting up. Finishes double pike. That'll definitely knock that 9.675 score out. And that is 5 solid scores. And they still have Kyla Bryant in their anchor position.
I'll admit, because of all the adversity they face, I was really pulling for Stanford coming in. I wanted to see their best meet of the year right now. Allie Smith goes 9-9, so look at the scores. We talk about coaches stacking their lineup from a 9-7 all the way up to a 9-9, and they finish with Geneva Thompson, an all Pac-12 selection last year, has already won on vault, and earlier had a streak of 23 in a row where she went 9-8 or better. She started a new streak with a season-high 9-9 at Oregon State.
It's all about the landing.
Got it. You could tell she owned that in the air. Even I knew it, Amanda. That's how good it was.
Well, when you see great technique, it's very obvious. She comes straight up off the table. When you get that straight up, it gives you the ability to come straight down. You see the landing, you're able to spot it, and then it's all about putting your body in the right position. Arms where she wants it, bending those knees. She slid her feet a little bit, but considering the vault starts from that 9.95, it should be close.
And she has had a perfect 9.95 in her career. That's the start value, and that's the best she could have gotten. Lena Dietz. Bailey McCabe got a 9.75.
Giant full to Kachev. Nice form, swinging right up to that handstand, and a beautiful transition down.
Good start to her career on this event. 4 times, she's gone 9.8, looking for one more at the big meet.
Beautiful toe point, and finishing with a great double layout.
College stick. She roll out of it. College stick.
Hey, it was a beautiful routine. Have you ever done a double layout? What's your stick look like?
Not intentionally. Yeah. It's so easy from up here.
Absolutely. I can tell you, I can promise you, it's not as easy as they make it look.
3 9.8s in a row for Oregon State, and now up steps Maddie Dagan. Dagan on the beam, a 2-time all Pac-12 selection. Ranked 28th in the country on this event, 6 wins, and all of her scores have been 9.8 or better. Enjoy.
Confident. Beautiful switch leap, switch half.
Twice this year, she's gone as high as 9.925 on beam.
When an athlete makes the balance beam look easy, dancing in and out, she has a nice smile on her face, looks like she's having fun. It helps you forget that it's 4 inches wide, but ultimately that's what makes them great, and that is going to be the highest score of their rotation.
Well, we already know it's going to be a 9.8 plus. Her season high, again, the 9.925, came in 2 of their biggest meets against California in a meet that we did here on the Pac-12 network in Westwood against the Bruins. 9.875 for Morgan Wong. Look at the scores that Stanford is piling up over on floor. Well, this is fun now, and you can tell each team is feeding off the one just before it.
Yeah, it's almost like that first rotation, everybody was a little nervous. Now they're getting in their groove. You can feel the energy picking up.
Kyler Bryant, her best event, but she only has 1 score above 9.8, so she's been a little rusty on this one. Got a smile on her face, got a little momentum in her pocket.
Lots of power, full twisting double back, perfect landing.
Well, if she's able to drop Sandra Jessen's 9.675, Stanford would have 5 scores of 9.8 or better.
Head coach Tabitha Yim in the background doing the whole routine with her. I love that. Kyla's one of my favorites to watch on this event. She just looks like she's having fun out there. I think that's what I miss more than anything. Getting out there, performing, and just enjoying it. Woo! 3 huge tumbling passes, lots of attitude packed in that routine.
Kyler Bryant already had a 9.875 in the first rotation on balance beam. And no matter what her score is, I can already tell you that'll be the best floor rotation of the season for Stanford. 4 meets canceled. Didn't start until February 27th, and Stanford showed up to play. Good for the Cardinal. Back through 2 rotations of session number 1 at the Pac-12 Championships. Kyler Bryant just went 9.95 in the anchor spot on the floor for Stanford to give them their best rotation in the year at 49.350. Stanford moves into 2nd place, right behind Washington at 95.075. Arizona sitting in 3rd right now. Arizona went 48.775 on that rotation, gives them a 97.375. And John Court, their head coach, joins us now. All right, so John, you closed with your best 2 scores of the year. I'm looking at 15 gymnasts on your roster that are freshmen or sophomores. I was going to ask you, are we seeing the future? But we just saw Atlanta Dietz, a freshman, put up another huge score. That's the 5th time this year she's gone better than 9.8.
That was her career high. She tied that, and that was a very, very big moment for her. Being a freshman, being her first Pac-12 championship, did an amazing job there in the anchor spot. It was great to have her back in the lineup this week. I thought that we came out, we swung a little bit tight on bars, and we opened up the meet very, very well on vaulting. Some really good efforts. They did what we asked them to do. We're on the back half of the competition right now. We know that we have to do some better gymnastics. We got to dial it on the landings and definitely have that big performance factor if we want to finish this thing out.
Well, earlier we talked 15 underclassmen, which means this is their first time at the Pac-12 Championship, right? And now you're heading to one of your best events. What advice have you told this young group?
Just to enjoy the moment. I mean, that's the message to the whole team, because really the only person that has competed in the Pac-12 Championship was Mackenzie Kane, and that was on vault 2 years ago. So really it was almost the whole team's first Pac-12 Championship. And I think it's an exciting moment for them. They need to stay in the moment, and they need to enjoy it. And I think that if they do that the second half of the meet, they'll see some results that they'll want to see.
John, congratulations on the early results on another fine season, and most of all on a new contract, re-signed through 2024. You know what that means?
Well, that means we get to talk a lot longer.
It means you're buying lunch. You're always welcome. Put on a headset. Come join us.
No, I always like it when Amanda buys lunch. That's for sure. But it's always great to have the support of the team, support of the athletic administration, Dave Hickey's leadership. That's why those things happen. But it's certainly nice to lead the program for years to come.
John, I've only known Amanda for 15 years. I've never seen her pick up a check. Thanks for the time, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right.
Good luck rest of the way.
All right, thank you both. Bear down.
John Court is now in his 23rd year in Tucson. Most of them as an assistant coach, and then finally they said, would you please pick up a clipboard and a whistle and run this thing? And he's just done a great job. One of our favorites. We love talking to John Court, and he is re-signed through 2024 to be the head coach of the Gym Cats. Washington leading halfway through the first session, but here comes Stanford. The best floor rotation of the year for Stanford was a 49.050 at Washington. It was their only 49 of the season on any event. Well, they just put up 5 scores of 9.825 or better to post a 49.350. With all things considered, it is a phenomenal effort. And the cherry on top of the sundae was Kyler Bryant in the anchor spot, 9.95.
Well, she opened the routine with a huge full in. That was her last tumbling pass, that open double tuck. And you can see that routine just shows her personality. So fun to watch. Great way to finish that rotation.
And we both could kind of feel that she was going to break out. She'd only had 1 score above 9.8 all year, but again, only 4 meets. And they should be at their best right now because now they got about, 6 weeks of real training. Remember how hard that the Bay Area was hit with all the COVID precautions. They couldn't even train. They couldn't gather together. Even the basketball teams at Stanford, Tara Vanderveer was taking her team to Santa Cruz just to practice. Stanford, who was ranked #1 in the country in women's basketball, couldn't even practice at Maples Pavilion. So same thing for the gymnastics team. And by the way, the 9.95, not even a career high for Kyler Bryant, who's gone 9.975, did that against Arizona State last year. So Stanford will now go to the vault. They begin with a freshman, have 2 freshmen in the lineup, along with 2 juniors and a senior.
It looks like there's a lineup change.
Yeah, there sure
They
is.
were holding. Tabitha was checking in to make sure they had the right lineup. So it looks like they have a different leadoff here.
Yeah, we had Amanda Zing in there, but we saw Tabitha running around and trying to get word to everybody.
They don't want to go out of order. It's a deduction if their lineup doesn't match. So they want to make sure everything is set correctly before this rotation starts. I believe Grace Garcia is going to be their leadoff.
Well, that would replace a freshman with a senior, assuming that they keep the other 5 in their spot. And Grace has done 2 vaults prior to this, but no scores really to speak of. So a big change here by Tabitha Yim, the head coach.
Suk tuck full. I mentioned those front entry vaults are very difficult because you have to generate so much power off the board. So they look a little lower, but she was clean throughout.
Skylar Killow-Wilhelm, the freshman to start. 3 freshmen to start, 4 in the lineup for Washington.
This has been the event that has been most challenging for Washington. They have a lot of potential, though.
Yeah, their average has been climbing, but they have not yet reached a 49.
Having those 2 strong rotations hopefully helps them find their groove on this event. And that is a great start.
Yes, it is. Killow-Wilhelm has won once already. She's gone back-to-back season highs, 9.85s.
And what
And both of the California meets, by the way, where there were big scores put up all over the gym.
What a great moment for a freshman. It's impressive to be able to come out and open the rotation with that much confidence.
First time we're going to see Avery Stoffaker. She's been on the balance beam, and the balance beam only in every meet. Up and down scores, but she is coming off a career high 9.85 in the tri-meet at McHale to close the season.
Avery has been in this leadoff position for most of the season. Setting up for her first tumbling element. Back handspring layout, step out. Nice job. Little lean to the left, snapping those arms down, finding her center. For an aerial combination. Oh, little balance check there on her split jump. All that's left is the dismount. Cartwheel into that gainer full. And a solid start.
Avery Stoffaker, and my contract prohibits me from saying it while she's on the beam. She comes out of gold medal gymnastics, Scottsdale area, outside of Phoenix, where she was one of your gymnasts.
She was. So my heart was pounding a little bit, and if you said anything too soon, I would have hit you had you been close enough.
I've learned over the years. Keep it to myself. Nia Mack, first up for Oregon State on floor. Great event for Oregon State. They're ranked 13th in the country, 4th in the conference, averaging 49.2 and their best of 49.45. They've hit 49 in 7 straight meets. Here we go.
Combination, a little too much power, bouncing out of that front 1.5 twist. Well, earlier we talked, they started on their weakest event, the uneven bars. They went to the most challenging event, the balance beam, so that they could finish on their strongest, the floor and the vault. So every routine, the goal is to pick up that momentum and, of course, build their scores in the back half of this competition. Nice double pike. She's using some really fun facial expressions. Just always makes me think the crowds would be going wild. Woo. Lots of fun choreography throughout that routine. She had the big bounce out of the first pass, but everything else was nice.
Yeah, it's been a very disappointing day so far for Oregon State. A couple of 48s in the first 2 rotations, but this is, again, one of their strengths. In fact, the last 2 events, the floor and the vault, both of them, they're ranked 13th in the nation. So this is their chance to rally right here. 9-5 for Garcia, as Stanford has completely changed its order. Amanda Zhang was scheduled to be the lead off now in the 2 spot. Doesn't much matter, 3 times this year. No 9-8s so far. Has had 9-8s or 9-7-5.
It was a nice layout full.
Neil Gallant, assistant coach, 6th year with the elbow bump.
Nice, easy. Just had to pike down a little bit. When the judges watch these vaults over and over, they get an exact eye of what they want to see, and then they take those small deductions for body position, amplitude, and landing.
Killa Wilhelm, 9-8-7-5 opener for Washington, who is the team to beat now in this first session. Katie McNamara.
The other freshman in the all-around for this team. Opening with the Jaeger. Nice position on the catch. Wow, holding that handstand. Moving down to the low bar with the Pac salto.
It's been a challenging event for her. Only 1 time this year as she reached 9-8, a flat 9-8 against Arizona.
Giant full double tuck to finish it. Taking that step back, but she was clean throughout that whole routine. You know, when I talked to the coaches about this event and how it's been weak, they said, you know, trying to find that sweet spot. We don't want to hold back, but we don't want to go too aggressive, because that's where and why we make our mistakes, and they're doing a great job.
Carolyn Harry now for Arizona on the beam. Hot start, has cooled off a little bit, but she is coming off a career high 9-9 in that final meet. So maybe she has regained that early season form.
solid. Side summy, perfect position on that landing. Any elements that are sideways on the balance beam, you have to be really centered, because if you lean forward, it's a balance check. If you lean backwards, you fall off the beam. So when they settle in perfectly like that, beautiful. Little wobbly there on that jump combination.
In the background, in the red, Taylor Spears, assistant coach, former national champion on the balance beam.
And she likes that routine.
Yeah, if she likes it, you know it was good. (9.8) for Nia Mack. Kayla Bird on the floor this year has won. This is her best event. She's coming off a career high 9.925.
When it comes to Oregon State on the floor exercise, you know names like Maddie Dagan and Caitlin Yanish, but when the coaches were talking, they said, our whole lineup's great, and Kayla Bird being one of those athletes that has really stepped up on this event. Combination pass there. She danced out of it. It was kind of hard to tell if she was a little off balance or not. Beautiful 2.5 twist. Those sometimes can be challenging to land. Very nice. You kind of see this trend where a lot of athletes are only performing 2 passes. So as long as they have enough difficulty, get all their bonus in there, it's a little less risky in making a mistake.
We saw Maddie Burdett earlier keep her mask on during the floor. She'll do the same on the vault. Coming off a career high against Oregon State, looking for more here.
It was a good vault. She piked down a little bit, and I don't think she needed to. That almost caused a little too much rotation, or her feet got slightly in front of her on that landing and had to hop back.
Burnett went 9.85 on that floor in the second rotation. 9.7 for Katie McNamara after the 9.875 opener by Skylar Killow-Wilhelm. Gabby Wickman. Wickman has found a favorite number on this event. It's 9.725. She's hit that score in 4 out of her 6 this year.
Beautiful combination there. Pike Yeager to that shoot over. Little short on that handstand. That's what keeps you from getting to that 9.8 range. Little close on the dismount. Way to stay with it. You can see she's kind of making a face. She pulled the dismount in a little bit. You know when you're getting close to that high bar, it does not feel comfortable, but she stuck with it.
A couple of 9.7 pluses for Arizona to begin the beam set. Malia Hargrove, only the 3rd time she'll be up on beam this year. She is coming off her season best of 9.75.
Fun way to start the beam. Almost doing that straddle cut over. Locking in on that landing, back handspring layout, step out.
We told you during the interview with Arizona head coach John Court that 15 of the 19 on the Arizona roster are freshmen or sophomores, including sophomore Malia Hargrove. But she was in every meet last year, every meet this year. So she's actually a little bit older than her class ranking because of all that experience.
And the athletes that do all around, weekend after weekend, it's a lot of work, but she has been such a key part of this team. And you can just see that energy right there. Good for her.
I just love the celebration, you know, and I do it with my kids at home. Celebrate the little things right now because we can all use a little good news, right?
Absolutely.
So let's overreact to everything on the positive side.
Yes.
Yeah. Kayla Bird, 9-9. Great set so far on floor for Arizona State. Christina Peterson comes in hot on the floor. 7 straight, Amanda, at 9.825 or better.
High flying double tuck to start it. Moving right into that dance, making eye contact with the judges. Working right out of that second tumbling pass as well. That's going to be another great score for her.
Christina Peterson, and she punches the high altitude outside of Salt Lake City.
That was a high energy routine. You could feel it start
Got to delay
finish.
the celebration with the mask now. You got to wait a minute. Burnett, 9-7. Chloe Widner. At the end of the runway for Stanford. Widner, season high 9.875, has done it twice.
Beautiful.
And maybe a third time.
You can just see that control. She makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
She has nice speed and position into the board, great block, lose those legs together, and then just floats into that landing.
Well, neither Chloe or Neil Gallant, the assistant coach, were that impressed with it, so they must see it all the time. Wickman 9.675, so they want to pick it up here. Bowles, Thompson, and Thomas to close it out. You can see their season average is below 48.8. Washington protecting the lead. Trying to post a number and see if it holds up for the night session. Remember, the top 4 seeds go tonight, 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Mountain.
She did a great job catching that release move. It looked a little far away. She was in full extension and finishing it giant full double tuck. Very clean routine.
Hargrove just got a 9-9 on beam. Top score for Arizona. Mackenzie Barilli has been finding consistency on this event 3 times. Has gone 9.8 plus. Her best a 9.875 against California. Balance check early.
Many athletes use that front aerial in a very important combination. So if they balance check like that, you'll see them dance back and repeat it, almost making the same mistake. That connection will be questionable because there's a little bit of a balance. Those 2 elements have to have really fluid positions between to get credit for it. Switch half. She was just a little lean to the right. I think had she stayed down though, she would center up, but instead kind of popped up to that finish. Dismounting, side area, full twist. So she stayed on the beam. You can tell she's a little disappointed. She had a few balance checks all the way throughout the routine, so those 1 to 2/10 deductions all the way through.
Check out Oregon State on the floor, 9-8, 9-9, 9-9. And here comes Savannah Force, a floor specialist. She's been on the floor in every meet 5 times, 9-8 or better. Her best, 9-9-2-5 at Stanford.
Nice double pike to start it. Front layout, front full.
Big
Double
air.
tuck, yeah. She got really high. It did not rotate really quick, so she did a great job of pulling it around, but you notice when she landed, she had to take a step forward. But great air awareness to know that she really had to pull in that last flip.
She was hanging in the air, wanted to see her get all the way around. 9-8-2-5 for Widner. Kyla Bryant, remember we just saw her in that last rotation with that very impressive 9-9-5 on the floor in the anchor spot for the Cardinal.
Wow, there's that power. She floats into that landing. She's almost doesn't even have to bend her legs, but because of that, she almost gets a little rebound. Way up in the air, wraps it in, and then straight up and down. She doesn't leave the mat. If you watch her feet, it's almost like she's so bouncy, she barely pops right off of it.
She's won twice on vault this year. Has gone 9-8 or better in 75% of her vaults. As a 9-9, should be in that neighborhood. Morgan Bowles went 9-7-2-5. Geneva Thompson. This is Thompson's best event. She's won twice. Her last 3 have all been 9-8-5 or better. Had a 9-9 against Oregon State.
Mounts over the low bar.
Saw Geneva go 9-8-5 on vault in the anchor spot last rotation.
Big release, a little close to the bar. Adjusted her position to catch, able to work out of it nicely. Hitting that final handstand. Full twisting double back. Holding that landing.
Oh yeah, showing it off too, making sure the judges know I can stand here all day.
Well, and that's 5 solid scores. I think we talked about this being a challenging event for Washington. They just were always making a mistake and having to count that mistake. So obviously the 9-6-7-5 is the score they want to bump, but they've locked in 5 strong scores.
Yeah, Washington has not reached 49 this year. Their average on the event is only a 48-3-2-5, counting all meets. Jessica Castles for Arizona on the beam. Second time we've seen her today. We're going to see a wolf turn, a triple wolf in this routine.
Oh, holding on there, back handspring layout, step out was a little lean to the left. Yeah, you always wonder at the championship if they keep those unique, difficult elements in the routine. Of course, they required a full turn. Not required the double or triple.
She has been great on this event. Every one of her scores this year has been 9-8 or better. Oh!
Well, that was unexpected.
Completely. She has been fantastic on the beam this year.
You can see her catching her breath there. She was doing a front aerial and her landing foot completely missed. Just having to regroup.
Is this the triple? 1, 2,
There
3.
it is.
Known as the George, named after Kiana George, who we'll see later tonight, California. I remember she threw that in the first meet you and I did here in Utah over at the Huntsman Center, and we weren't ready for it. We didn't know she was going to do it.
And we weren't counting, so
Yeah.
we were like, is that a double or a triple? You know, that's too bad. That was a great routine. Such a fluke, right, to miss that landing foot.
What happens here, Amanda?
Well, it's a front aerial, so you cannot see the beam as you're landing. Right here, you have to trust.
Oh.
And that foot just didn't even make it on. Her heel landed on the beam. And, you know, it's just a reminder, it's only 4 inches wide. So her heel was on, but you want your whole foot right in the center of the beam so it does not slip.
Good set going for Oregon State on the floor. The low score forces 9-7-7-5. Here comes Maddie Dagan. Has the potential to score big. 5 times she's gone 9-8, including a 9-9-2-5 against Utah.
Front double full to start the routine. Oh no. Front layout, front full right there. She came up short on the front layout, so that affected her punch. Her knees got kind of soft. She was able to stay on her feet, but finishing double pike.
Just hasn't been Oregon State's day so far.
Yeah.
You can have one problem in each set. They've had 2, and that's
Yeah.
held their scores down.
So, I mean, what a fight right there. She landed the front layout, and you could see her knees bend. Anytime your knees bend, you're not going to get the punch off of the spring floor. So then she had to tuck full, barely was able to get around, held onto it, of course, major deduction, and then took a step out of bounds.
Kyler Bryant, 9-8-5, so the score's rising quickly for Stanford. Sandra Jessen, anchor spot.
Yurchenko full. They've done a good job. They really rearranged that entire rotation, or their lineup.
Well, that should help them drop that 9-5 opener by Garcia, and they'll have 9-7 pluses all the way across. 9-8-7-5 by Geneva Thompson. Lauren Thomas. Another good rotation here for Washington. They're looking to drop a 9-6-7-5. And they could threaten 49 on this event. They haven't done it this year.
Great extension to
Got
catch
back
that
to
Jaeger.
it. Thought she was a little far away.
Yep, came up a little short on the cast handstand because of it.
Got out on the end of the dowels.
Needs to be aggressive
Yep.
right here.
A little short.
Giant full right on top to a clean double tack. Definitely one of their strongest bar rotations of the season.
So Arizona now looking to drop Castles there. Serena Linton will have to do it. She has finally found her footing on this event, coming off a season high 9-8-5 in that triple meet against Southern Utah and Air Force in their finale at home in Tucson.
Triple series, 2 back handsprings to lay out, step out. Wow, she looked crooked the entire way down, but somehow pulled up tall and just locked that lunge in.
Serena's competed in every meet and is one of those great stories, the first college athlete in her family. And no crowd here at the Maverick Center in West Valley City in Utah, except for selected friends and family.
Set area full twist. Good for her. Pressure was on.
Yeah, came through. She did what she was asked.
Yeah, she took a deep breath there. And a big hug from the beam coach.
Yeah, that's what Taylor Spears is telling her. That's just what we needed, and he came through. So when you're in the anchor spot, there, you know what happens in front of you, and you know what your team needs.
And you've had to wait the entire rotation.
So here comes Caitlin Yanish. She's ranked 23rd in the country on floor, but in my mind, Caitlin Yanish is one of the top 10 floor performers in this country. We've been watching her for years on this event. Dynamic.
And you're going to see why right here, this first tumbling pass.
Two-time All-American, has 6 wins last year, 6 wins this year. She's really good.
High flying double layout, the second flip lifts. So much rotation. We saw her earlier on the uneven bars. And all the other years, she's been one of their best on not just this event, but the vault as well.
Six times she's gone 9-9. 3 times she's gone 9-9-5.
High flying double tuck. Pressure was on her as the anchor as well, and came through big.
So besides the team championships, of course, there's bragging rights on each event. And somebody's going to have to go big tonight to beat Caitlin Yanish. We don't know the score yet, but I can tell you it's going to be good. Third rotation in the books. We'll do the math, come back and tell you what everybody needs for the 4th and final turn. Three rotations, session 1 in the books. We've seen some surprises already, one of the best. Stanford on its floor rotation. We're still doing the math on all of this right now, but it looks like Arizona won that rotation with a 48.75 as Serena Linton went 9-9 in the anchor spot on beam for the Gym Cats of the U of A. Tabitha Yim, head coach of Stanford, joins us now. Tabitha, we've known you for a long time, and this has been a strange season to say the least. The starts, the stops, the cancellations, you guys have been right in the eye of the storm. So much adversity, but I would think that Stanford students, more than anybody else, can handle adversity. How have you guys dealt with it within the gymnastics program?
You know, I can't say enough how proud I am of this group of student athletes, the resilience, the courage, the strength that they've shown, and they've just managed to keep that mindset. And our motto this year is get better, get stronger. And I honestly feel every single practice, every competition, every interaction we've had, they've been able to do that, and they've really bonded over that. And so I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't been easy, but man, I have never been so proud of a group.
I would say today you've gotten better and stronger each rotation. Beam was a little rocky, came back big on floor, some great vaults. There's one event left. What are you going to say to your team as you head to that final rotation?
Let's celebrate each other. You know, 3 weeks ago, we only had 3 kids up on each event. So just the growth, I mean, even on beam, the athletes who have been able to step up, we are celebrating every moment. We didn't get to come here last year. Honestly, for us, it feels just unbelievable, and we're grateful for the opportunity to compete. And so we're gonna live up every single moment and celebrate every athlete repping the S, because man, do they deserve it.
Tabitha, outside of gymnastics, the biggest story in this country right now is the recent rise in violence against Asian Americans. I know you live in the Bay Area, so you deal with this firsthand.
Yeah, and thank you for giving me an opportunity. You know, I've been significantly impacted by the rise in violence against the Asian community, the AAPI community. And I have to say, you know, this year has been sobering in the area of racial injustice and violence. And we've seen how it's impacted the Black student athletes on our team, and now the Asian student athletes on our team.
And I can't tell you enough, again, just how this team has really risen up to support each and every one of their teammates, and the way that they've rallied to step up not only on the competition floor, but outside of the competition arena has just been incredible. They are incredible women, unbelievable ambassadors for the sport and for our school. And I just want to say, I'm thinking of everyone who has been impacted, and we got to come together and really work together to continue to promote social justice. We're stronger together. So thank you.
Great words, Tabitha. Thank you for saying that. Tabitha Yim, in her 4th season on the farm at Stanford. I know it's been a tough year, but you're having a good day. Congratulations. So Washington with a 146-925 leads going into the 4th and final. But the Gym Dogs will close on the toughest event, the balance beam, when we come back to the Maverick Center in West Valley City, Utah. Okay, so we take you back to the second rotation. The anchor spot for Stanford on the floor, Kyla Bryant. Stanford had not hit 49 all year long. Bryant needed a good score. She got way better than that. 995, the high score of the meet so far.
Well, she had the high-flying, tumbling, lots of difficulty, and that smile across her face the entire routine. It was fun to watch.
49.350 officially for Stanford on the floor. That is their best of the year on any event. Good for them. Congratulations. Stanford in this final rotation will move to the bars. So it'll be Oregon State vault, Stanford bars, Washington, who's leading this session on balance beam, and Arizona on the floor. Now for Washington on the beam, they're only 7th out of 8 teams in this conference. So it's a tentative lead right now. Oregon State has had a tough day. They finished with one of their best events, 13th in the country on the vault.
And a good start. Layout full. Landings are going to be key on this rotation.
Kayla Burt, the scores have been rising in the late season. She had a 9.825 a couple of times on the road. Amanda Zing, freshman, is always near the top of the lineup for Stanford. Stanford is sitting in 2nd place.
Jaeger to start the routine.
This has been a tough event for Amanda this year.
Earlier you asked which event is the most difficult when you can't train, and thinking the balance beam as far as competition, but the uneven bars is an event you can't do anything for except train on it. So always a challenge.
Wow, her handstand was vertical. It was perfect. Total control. The dismount, great. Maybe a little side hop. But
a good start.
Yeah, she's psyched. Skylar Kilho-Wilhelm and Kathy Eckstein, 2 freshmen to begin on beam for Washington. They need 5 big scores.
Skylar is strong at the balance beam.
Well, she's coming off her best, had a 9.875 at California in the finale less than a week ago.
Oh, wow. That is a difficult way to start this event. She has been very consistent. They had her in this leadoff position to really set the tone, but now with a fall in that first spot, pressure will be on the back part of the lineup. Beautiful kick over front.
Boy, it got real serious on the Washington bench, didn't it?
Well, finishing on the balance beam is almost as difficult as starting on the balance beam, but completely different reasons. Of course, they're leading the meet, and that pressure is on. Difficult combination there. The problem happened on her back handspring layout step out. It really wasn't that far off, but you could see that back foot came down on the
all
side.
the way across the beam.
And it's just so challenging to save when that mistake happens so quickly.
We haven't seen Laura Lee Horton since the very first performance of the meet, when she opened on vault. She's been up and down on floor this year. Twice has gone 9.8.
Clean combination. Back 1.5 to front full. Front 1.5 twist. Very clean routine and a strong way for Arizona to start on this event. She had a lot of combination passes, twisting passes, but all of them had good landings.
9.775 for Bird. Here comes Christina Peterson. Christina Peterson just put up a 9.9 on floor for the Beavs. So she comes in with a lot of confidence and a lot more speed.
And a unique vault right there. That Yurchenko half on, half off. It's a more common vault. It is a bit challenging to judge for the reason that they don't see it a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of score she gets here today.
And
She's
Peterson,
excited about it.
She had not gone over 9.8 all year on the vault. That one's got a chance. Widner's had a good day for Stanford. Trying to finish it off here on the bars. This will be her 4th bars routine, season high 9.725.
Beautiful handstand to start the routine. She has that stunning toe point, stands out on this event. Every time she holds a handstand, you really see it. Beautiful.
Widner had a 9.825 earlier on vault.
Clean routine. She didn't have any major releases or big skills. Hit every handstand, legs glued together.
She had a 9.85 on floor. And a 9.875 on beam, so Widner's had a great day. Just the 9.25 for Kilo Wilhelm. They'll want to drop that. So now you need Eckstein, Bowles, Thomas, McNamara, and Russin all to score for Washington to protect this lead. So as if there isn't enough pressure on the Pac-12 championships and then finishing on beam, now they have to do it without making a mistake. Coming off her best last week at Cal, 9.8. They would love a 9.8 right here.
She's been solid so far. She had that unique combination, the front aerial. Normally you see 1 back handspring. She did 2 back handsprings. Has a nice smooth rhythm throughout this routine.
That move much harder than it looks.
Anytime you take your eyes off the balance beam, and of course you're looking way up into an arena, and then as your feet hit the beam, you have to remake eye contact with it. Oh, goodness.
Back foot came off right at the end of the beam.
That was such a great routine going, too. Wow.
Well, initially, I'm just glad to see her pop up because it was kind of an ugly fall. Check back with the Gym Dogs in a moment. 9.85 for Laura Lee Horton is a great score on the floor. Comes Danny Nosek. Nosek has had some modest scores on the floor. 4 times she's gone better than 9.8s.
Big double pike. Oh, that heel went out of bounds. So she'll get that 1/10 of a deduction. Nice combination pass there. Strong double tack to finish it. It was a great routine. She had that 1/10 of a deduction on the first tumbling pass.
Back-to-back 9.775s for Oregon State, who's not out of this meet. Caitlin Yanish. Just went big again on floor. She's consistent on this event. All of her vaults have been 9.8 or better. You can put that one on the list.
Beautiful. She has incredible distance. That's how much power she has coming onto the table, and it's all about directing that into the table. Of course, blocking, wrapping into that tight twist. Just that hop back on the landing.
Her last two vaults of the regular season were both 9.875s. Widner 9.725. Maddie Brunette. Brunette on the bars, coming off back-to-back 9.8s.
Combination right here at the top of the routine. Major release connected down to the low bar. Finishing double layout.
Maddie, of course, part of that big set on floor. She had a 9.85 on her floor today. Stanford went 49.35. First time this year they've reached 49 on any event.
She is so proud. Tabitha is so proud of that team. They've been so resilient, and they're just having a great day.
All right, Washington is right up against it now. They're already going to have to count at least the 9.25. So Bowles, Thomas, McNamara, and Taylor Russin have to hit. No more falls. Amanda, I don't have Taylor competing this year on my notes. So,
well, wow. Oh,
talk
no.
about a tough spot.
And another fall. I think when we talk to Washington, this is kind of some of the struggles they've seen, is just that inconsistency. You know, they've had 3 very good events, but it's the balance beam. It's always challenging. Another fall. At this point, what happens is when they're underclassmen, or even the upperclassmen on this event, one person makes a mistake and it kind of, you know, becomes contagious. They really need to reset. Clearly, 2 falls on the balance beam definitely can take them right out of the competition.
We've talked about it for years that almost every meet we've ever done has been decided one way or another on the balance beam. It's the equivalent of turnovers in a football game. You just can't overcome them. And Ralph Rosso, he knows, he's got a young team. He said, look, this is part of the growing pains. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. They had a good day for 3 rotations until they got to the beam. But it's happened to the best teams in this sport in history. Atlanta Dietz, Arizona on the floor. Remember, Dietz had a 9.875 on bars in the second rotation. Big air.
Woo. And a bouncy landing. Should have been out of the floor lineup for a few weeks, so they were grateful to have her back in. Big smile there. She finishes her routine. Very nice.
Next up, on call for Oregon State, Sydney Gonzalez.
Another strong vault for Oregon State.
Sydney Gonzalez with a half on, half off pike. So Oregon State has actually gone in front. Before that vault, Oregon State had passed Washington, leading by 0.15. Burnett just got a 9.75. Grace Garcia. So Stanford is running in third right now, and they still have a chance. And they still have Bryant in the 5 spot and Addie Stone-Cipher in the anchor.
Nice release combination to start the routine. Setting up for the dismount. Came up a little bit short, but held on to it. The front 1.5 twist and holding that stuck landing.
So to show you how quickly fortunes change in gymnastics, Washington had a pretty good lead coming into this final rotation. They have suffered 3 falls. Oregon State moves into the lead. Stanford is close, and Arizona still has a chance.
Well, and every team knows that. You can't give up till it's over, right? You've got teams finishing on their best events, and they could pull through. And for Washington at this point, they need to just settle down, and the back part of the lineup needs to put up some strong routines because they're capable of doing that.
Lauren Thomas. She has just 1 routine this year better than 9.8 on the beam. Good time for a second.
Kick over front, directly connected to that back handspring. Clean lead pass. Finishing round off 1.5 twist. Nice job. A lot of mistakes on this event. Didn't let it bother her. Got up there and did the routine she was capable of doing.
9.825 for Dietz keeps Arizona in it. Now Libby Orman. So Arizona's got a shot. Stanford's got a shot, and Oregon State has the lead. Lead is now 0.175. Oregon State over Stanford. Arizona just behind that. Music Miscued, so she'll reset. Oh, why not? They've dealt with everything else.
She knew exactly what to do, though.
Yeah,
She
just
popped
walk
up,
away.
walked off the floor.
Yeah, just break it all and reset. She's a sophomore, so she's maybe been through just enough to understand to walk away. She's been real solid on the floor. 6 of 7 this year have been at least 9-8. Went 9-8-5 4 times.
Nice high 1.5 twist there in that combination.
Only event of the day for Libby Orman. She's been sitting on the bench for 2.5 hours.
Big double pike. Her face says it all.
Sure does. She looked right at Taylor Spears and said, how about that?
She waited the entire competition, but it was worth it. Great routine.
Remember, 15 of 19 on their roster are freshmen and sophomores. They're growing up a lot right here in front of us. 9.85 for Yanish, 9.875 for Sydney Gonzalez, and now the Dagans, who are both great on this event. Lacey Dagan was in the vault lineup in the midseason, had a win, has 2 9.9s. They need a score right now. They're holding on to the lead.
That should be a good one. She has nice position, straight arms on the table, opens up a little off center there on the landing.
So they have 5 scores now, but they have 2 9.775. So you're going to want to drop one of those with Maddie Dagan in the anchor spot.
Well, she's got a 1.5 twist vault, so it can be a big score.
How about Garcia with the 9.85 on bars for Stanford? And here's Kyla Bryan again. Kyla has won twice on bars. 3 of her 4 scores, 9.8 plus.
We see her power easily on floor and vault, but she brings it on the uneven bars too.
Yeah, beautiful so far.
Quick to her handstands like that. Lots of speed, double layout. Oh, wow, came up a little short, but
Did a good job to hold on to it.
she did, and that was an outstanding routine. That was really the only deduction.
Can you imagine with everything that Stanford's been through, and I understand every team has gone through it, but it's been magnified in the Bay Area. If Stanford were to come in and win this session, what a job that would be. 9.725 Lauren Thomas. Katie McNamara. And the sidebar story is how Washington had been so good for 3 rotations, and in 3 straight falls to open their beam set, it all got away from them. But you learn and you grow from it.
Yeah, these underclassmen, part of the experience is sometimes stumbling and learning, right? Their season's not over just because they've made mistakes here. So it's about going back into practice and making sure you don't make those same mistakes again. They saw their potential. They had 3 strong events. And balance beam can be a great event for them, but like any team, it can also break your momentum.
Katie Mack's last 2 on the beam have been outstanding. 9.9 against California, 9.875 at California. And those back-to-back meets against the Bears.
And one of their strong freshmen who are gaining a lot of experience here. Beautiful
Yep,
routine.
You bet. And keep in mind that many of the teams we're going to see today, Session 1, Session 2, are going on to the regionals, which begin early April.
Dismounting, side aerial, full twist, going for that perfect landing also.
With all the COVID protocols, there are two sports that I've done recently that really lend themselves to this new world, and that is gymnastics, because the teams never come together. They share some equipment, but there's time for cleaning in between. And the other sport I did was cross country, where you're literally running away from other people. So we're still waiting on a score for Libby Orman on that floor. So far, Arizona has gone 9.85 with Laura Lee Horton. Danny Nosek went 9.675. Elena Dietz 9.825. We're expecting a good score from Libby Orman. Is that the score they're posting there? Maybe a 9.775?
Looked like the judges were.
And it is a 9.775. So hoping to drop Nosek's 9.675 with Castles and Hargrove on the back end as Arizona continues to chase Oregon State and Stanford. Castles on the floor has posted a score as high as 9.875. Did that against UCLA.
Round off 2.5 twist punch front. So right at the top of her floor routine, she has incredible flexibility. She showcases that throughout. Lots of twisting in that pass, back 1.5 through to a double full. Beautiful routine to
Sure
watch.
was. Yeah, that was much different than a lot that we've seen this year. Kind of going old school on it with some classical violin music.
Yeah, and she's a beautiful dancer, great
Yes.
flexibility, and really capitalized that in that routine.
Back-to-back 9.875s after Yandish's 9.85. If you went over and asked Tanya or Mike Chaplin, the head coaches at Oregon State, it comes down to one vault. Who do you want? They'd say, how about Maddie Dagan? Ranked 11th in the country. She's won 4 times. She's gone 9.9 5 times.
1.5 twist. She took that small step back in the warm-up. She nailed it perfect. Still going to be a great score. Still going to knock out one of those 9.775s.
Oregon State was leading by 0.25 coming in, so this should close the door for the Beavers.
The 1.5 twist, so much more difficult to land because as her feet are coming to the ground, she's looking forward. So you can see, almost jars her a little bit. Anytime you come up short, it's risky. She did a nice job of taking a very small step, so it should be a minimal deduction.
And let's remember that Oregon State had terrible first rotations. On the bars, they went 48.07 in the first rotation. They did 49, well, I guess 49.1 in that second rotation on beam is pretty good. So after that terrible start, they've come back.
Stanford finishing up on the bars. The good news is they do have 5 scores locked in. Of course, their low score, that 9.675, but combination clear hip to that pack salto. Another combination clear hip to double tuck. Simple way to finish the routine.
Addie Stonecipher. Taylor Russin here.
Setting up for her tumbling. Nice job. Beautiful flexibility. Nice calm rhythm as she's working through this routine. This has been a tough rotation, but the final 3 athletes have really come back and finished up strong.
So our final performer, Leah Hargrove, on the floor for Arizona. The 9-9 by Jessica Castles is a career high for her. Unfortunately for Arizona, it's not going to be enough. The Dagans both went 9-8-7-5 for Oregon State. Lacey Dagan first, Maddie Dagan anchor spot. Oregon State will win session number 1. Now, Malia Hargrove doesn't know that, and Arizona still has a good shot at second.
Full twisting double back to start. Big bounce out. Looks like she fought to stay in there, though.
Hargrove has gone 9-8 or better 6 times on the floor this year. Twice has gone 9-9.
Nice combination work. Final pass. Clean double tuck.
So although she didn't know it, Malia Hargrove might have just gotten Arizona second place.
That concludes the first session of the Pac12 Gymnastics Championships. Fans, let's hear it for
Now, Oregon State did exactly what they needed on the vault. As I look at their scores, they open with back-to-back 9-7-7-5s. Then Yanish goes 9-8-5. Then Gonzalez and the Dagans put up 3 straight 9-8-7-5s. So they were able to drop one of those early low scores. They posted 49-2-5 on the event. It's enough to protect the lead and win session number 1. So Oregon State wins. Stanford and Arizona were battling for second. We'll give you that total. We come back. Beavs wins session number 1 and post a score. Maverick Center in West Valley City. That's Salt Lake City, right at the base of the Wasatch Front, off in the distance. We're halfway done. Session number 1 is finished. Oregon State, after starting with a 48-0-7-5, keeps it together like a veteran team with 2 coaches who've been doing this a long time, and they work their way back, take the lead early in that final rotation on vault, and close it out, and the Beavers post the top scorer so far.
Well, we asked them at the beginning of the competition, why bars? We know it's your weakest event. They had a plan, and the plan was to make the comeback in the second half of the competition, and that's exactly what they did. They kept building momentum, building their scores, and they really picked it up on both floor and vault.
We're still waiting on the final score to be official for Arizona. We think the Wildcats will finish second, just in front of Stanford. But talking about Stanford, it's one of the takeaways for me. What Stanford has been through and what they did, especially on the floor today. Stanford putting up a 49-3-5-0. It's their only 49 of the year. It's by far their highest score in any event. And Kyler Bryant with a 9.95 at the end.
Well, they'd only competed 4 times prior to this competition. So I think for most of us, we were waiting to see what they're going to be doing. What are their lineups? Are they consistent? And I think they did a wonderful job. Balance beam was not the best start for them, but they didn't let it bother them. They came back on the floor exercise, and they were fun to watch, and they were confident, and they put up the big scores. And they carried that momentum all the way through. And I think Tabitha said it the best for anybody is, we're grateful to be here. We feel blessed.
Amanda, you spend most of your time in a gym at home coaching. If you were Ralph Rosso right now, what do you say to the gym dogs? Because they actually had a really good day. The first 3 rotations, they were in control. It was their meet to win, and they suffered 3 falls to start the beam rotation. But there's so many young people there, and the coaching change with Ralph taking over. What would you say to them right now?
Well, you know what? It's been a roller coaster ride for this team, and you learn a lot in the most difficult moments. So ultimately, this very young team has an opportunity to learn from this experience, and I think they'll go back to the gym and use it as an opportunity and come out even stronger.
So they're going to let the lights cool just a little bit here at the Maverick Center, but we're coming back tonight. Session number 2, the top 4 seeds. Number 5 in the country and the top seed, the Golden Bears of California. Utah, 6th in the country, undefeated for 2 years in the regular season. Arizona State appearing in the marquee session for the first time in their history. And UCLA, the 2-time defending champions, currently ranked number 13. That's all later tonight. For Alan Brum, your producer, Mark Wilson, your director, Michael Shames, your associate producer, and my partner, Amanda Borden, I'm Jim Watson, saying so long for now from the Maverick Center, where Oregon State has put up the best score